What's up, guys? So today we're gonna be doing a Q&A, but I didn't want it to be like a boring Q&A where I just sit in my room and answer questions, so I figured we could take a walk in the park and just talk. So yeah, let's go. Hello. What advice would you give other small YouTubers that do commentary? If you're starting off on YouTube, just in general, doesn't matter if it's commentary or not, just do things that you are interested in. If you make content that you're interested in, then the video will be interesting. If you make stuff that you don't really care about, it's just going to be a drag to make. And even if the video does turn out good, you're going to get burned out so quickly because you're going to be doing stuff that you don't care about. Have like zero expectations, honestly, because I had zero expectations going into YouTube and that worked out well for me. I think when I go into things without expectations, I am less likely to be disappointed, and the less attached you are to an outcome, the more fun you'll have. And honestly, that's when things come a lot easier to you, is when you just have fun and you don't worry about what is going to come out of it. Anytime you doubted yourself first starting off in YouTube? Yeah, sometimes. I mean, not too much, but I think everyone goes through that, right? You know, especially when you're first starting out and no one's watching your videos and it's like, damn, like, what am I doing? No one's watching this. Is it even worth it? A little bit of self-doubt is natural. It happens, especially when you're doing something as uncertain as YouTube. You never know if it's going to take off or not. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. I always knew that eventually I would have a following and that my channel would blow up, because I worked hard and I just believed in myself more than anybody else. And you kind of just have to trick yourself and kind of not necessarily lie to yourself, but you have to kind of condition yourself into believing in yourself and knowing that it's going to work out and just having that blind faith. And that's what I did. I knew what I was capable of, and as long as I applied myself and kept going, I would figure it out. And I was right. My channel blew up and I'm here now, and I still have a lot more work to do and a long journey ahead of me. What is the biggest misconception people have about you? People find me really intimidating. I don't know why. I mean, I get it, you know, I'm beautiful, great style, amazing, wonderful aura, like what's not to love? No, people think I'm really intimidating, and I guess, I don't know if that's a misconception, because it's just kind of how people perceive me. That's not like, I can't say I am or I am not. I guess, you know, when people think you're intimidating, they assume that you aren't necessarily mean, but that, you know, you think that you're better, or that, I don't know how to explain it. I don't think people find me stuck up or anything like that, but people do say that I'm intimidating. And of course, I don't get it, because I'm me. I don't find myself intimidating at all. But at the same time, people say that I'm very approachable, which is true. I mean, people come up to me all the time. Every time I go out, some strangers trying to have a conversation with me or compliment me or something like that. So I'm a very approachable person, but I'm also very intimidating at the same time. I don't know if that's a misconception, but yeah, I get that a lot, and I don't really know why. Wait, should I try to do like a cool transition? Okay. Did that work? Do you have imposter syndrome relating to your recent ascension? Recent ascension, it sounds very cinematic. Not really though. I mean, sometimes I do take a moment and remember that I have a following on the internet, which is still like a really weird thing for me to wrap my mind around. It's more so cool in like a fun, unbelievable way rather than like, I don't deserve this. But I do have moments where I'm like, how did I How did I get here? I worked hard to, get to where I am right now, and I am going to continue to work hard to grow a bigger audience. And I know that everything that I have right now I intended to happen. I worked for it, so I don't really feel too much imposter syndrome, but it definitely, it happens, especially when you start getting paid. That's when I really felt like a scammer. I was like, y'all pay me for this? Okay, I mean, if you say so. I'm more than happy to take Google's money, don't get me wrong, but once you start making money and it starts becoming a job, you do feel like, oh my god, what did I do? Is this right? I'm not just making like a couple $100s here and there. Like, I'm making more money than I've ever made in my entire life, which doesn't say a lot, but it's still like really crazy. I had a bit of a blow up, right? Like, I didn't just get on YouTube and then 5 years later I, got to 50,000 subscribers. It happened super fast. And I think when things happen super fast like that, it's easy to feel this sense of imposter syndrome because it doesn't feel like you earned it entirely, because there are other people who've been on YouTube way longer than I have who don't even have this many subscribers. Not that I'm, like Logan Paul or something. I don't have millions of subscribers, but I have a following. I have a decent following. I did work hard, but I also had a stroke of luck. The algorithm just, blessed me, as they say. I think whenever you're a creative person, imposter syndrome is bound to happen. I've had imposter syndrome with acting, with singing. It always creeps up on me, and it's hard to avoid, but I don't take it too much to heart because I know it's all in my head. I wouldn't have all the opportunities that I have today if it weren't for my hard work and talent. So it's not like, I just woke up and everything happened. So that was a really long answer, so let's move on. Do you have a role model? No, not really. I don't really believe in role models, honestly. I feel like that's way too much pressure to put on one person, especially because you don't know that person most likely. I mean, I guess your role model could be like your parent or something, but I don't know. I think role models are bound to disappoint you, especially if you meet them. They say never meet your heroes. But no, I don't really believe in role models just because I think, humans are humans. You can definitely look up to people and be inspired by people, but I don't really believe in role models or idol worship or anything like that. I also think a lot of people who are role models didn't even really want to be, or they didn't expect to be, and I think that's a very odd place to be in when you are a role model and you didn't really ask to be one. I know some people have role models and they don't expect them to be perfect, but because you put them on such a high pedestal, it's impossible to comprehend them as a full human being with flaws and everything because you don't know them. What's it like knowing that you probably have younger viewers who look up to you? So when I first read this question, I was like, well, I can't really answer that because no one actually thinks that way. And then I was like, actually, there's probably at least one person out there who maybe looks up to me who is younger, and just knowing that is a weird thing to comprehend in itself. I have no problem with people looking up to me. I hope that I do inspire people, influence people in a positive way. Obviously, that's why I started my YouTube channel, so it's not like I'm like, no, please don't look at me, because it's like, well, I'm here. It can be kind of scary though, because you don't want to influence people the wrong way, and you don't want to up and make people disappointed. But I hope that anyone who does happen to look up to me for some reason, I hope you know that I'm just a flawed human being just like you, and I don't know what the I'm doing. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think I do know what I'm doing to a certain extent, but we're all just human trying to figure it out day by day. So I hope no one thinks that I'm above them or cooler than them or anything like that. I'm just a girl with a camera and some opinions. I hope I can continue to be a positive influence on this bleak world. Any tips on how to be social, because I really aspire to be as socially fluid as you? That's an interesting observation, because I don't even know if I would consider myself socially fluid, but thanks. It's really easy to come off really like, you know, extroverted and confident on YouTube because you're just talking to a camera and you're usually alone, and you can edit out the parts where you lose your train of thought or your mind just goes blank. I'm actually a pretty socially awkward person. I can be social and I can be a functioning human, but I'm definitely not as effortless when it comes to socializing as other people. I'm a very introverted person. I spend most of my time alone. I hang out with literally one person. Hi, Gabby. I think something that helped me get out of my shell was just becoming more comfortable with myself, and also owning the fact that I can be a bit socially awkward or a bit shy, because the more I tried to fight it, the worse it got, whereas I'm like, you know what, sometimes I'm just a bit quiet and I keep to myself, and that's fine. Try not to think too hard about it. Just start off with compliments. People love that, and that's usually how I get my conversations going with people. People love to come up to me anyway, so I'm sure if I go up to someone, they won't mind. I just be myself, and that's good enough for me, and it should be good enough for other people, and if it's not, f*** 'em. What myths are told about college? What's something you would tell your 14-year-old self? You're not going to be partying every day, butt chugging Bud Light and f***ing everybody in sight. College is honestly a really lonely experience, especially the first year. I also am in New York City, so it's not like I'm going to frat parties. There are no frat houses in New York. Imagine me at a frat party, like a f***ing disaster. I remember when I was really young, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna like have a sexual awakening and I'm gonna drink and do drugs. Like I'm not doing any of that. I'd say high school was more lit when it came to, you know, hooking up with people and doing drugs. And something I would tell my 14-year-old self is everything's gonna be okay. Like, I promise everything is going to be okay. And I know that sounds like super cliche because it's like, oh, it gets better, but like it really does. It really does. You know, when you're a young teenager, it seems like the smallest thing is like the end of the world. Like I remember I was 14 and boys like didn't pay attention to me, and I wanted a boyfriend so badly. I just didn't get the attention that I wanted, but I just wish I could tell myself, like, don't worry, you'll be hot soon enough. Just give it a moment. Plenty of men will give you attention to the point where you kind of just want it to stop. So, you know, it'll be fine. Just, like, relax and enjoy your childhood. Your dreams are not as far-fetched as you think, and you are a lot more capable than you think you are. And if you really put your mind to something, you'll do it, so don't stress out, okay? What are your current career goals? I see exciting things for you. Thank you. Gosh, I have a lot. My ultimate goal is to, you know, grow on YouTube, right? And then use my internet platform to boost other projects and passions that I have. I'm a singer and an actress, and I would love to make an album one day or an EP first, because I've been acting and singing forever, and it's always been my dream to be a singer. But in terms of YouTube goals, I want to, you know, hit 100,000 subscribers this year. I want to get some brand deals. Oh my God, please. I'm trying to make that money, okay? I'm trying to make that money. I'd love to collab with a YouTuber. I've yet to do that. I've like had other YouTubers be like, oh, like I'm gonna make a reaction video to you, or we should collab, but like they never actually pull through, which, you know, people do that. I don't know why it happens so much, but you know, it'd be cool one day to collab with someone, especially like a New York YouTuber or something, and just make more YouTube friends. I don't really have that many. Like I have like YouTube acquaintances, which is fine, honestly, but it would be nice to have at least one friend that also does YouTube, and someone who can like relate to what I do and maybe even help me out, because I'm still very new to this whole thing, and there's a lot that I don't know, and there's a lot for me to learn. Something you wish you could change about New York City. I love New York City, but it's dirty. It is so dirty in this. And there's honestly no excuse, because there are plenty of other cities that have cleanliness, hygiene, and for some reason New York just doesn't get it. The further out you get from like Manhattan and more into like lower income neighborhoods, the dirtier it gets, and they really do not prioritize cleanliness here, and I don't understand why. We're just living in filth, and it's so gross. I'll just be walking and I look down and I see diarrhea on the street. There's everywhere. Dog, human You can name it. Favorite and least favorite college experience. Favorite experience is being in New York City. The reason why I got to come to New York City was for school, and also just being independent, being on my own. Leaving home was the best decision I ever made, and by leaving home I mean like leaving the state, not just leaving my house, but leaving the state. If you are young, please leave your hometown. You will grow so much and you will learn so much about yourself, especially if you go to a big city like New York. Sheesh. My least favorite part about college is having a roommate. My freshman year, I had a roommate and I hated it. There's something so unnatural about sharing a room with someone, being like less than 6 feet apart from each other every single day. I could not handle it. The American school system is so expensive, but they make us share rooms. Some people have to share rooms with 3 other people. It's just one room and 3 people. Like that's not right. Future travel destinations. There's so many places I want to go. Top 3 is Japan, France, and Amsterdam. How to deal with the feeling of growing up and like your youth is ending. It is a bittersweet experience growing up, but I'd say for the most part I'm excited to grow up. I know a lot of people my age are like, I don't want to grow up, childhood's over, adulting, bleh. Being an adult, it can suck and gaining more responsibility over your life can be really terrifying, but it's also really fun. And you know, the age that I'm at right now is such a great time to be alive, and I'm really excited for my future. And the best way to come to terms with getting older is not letting go of the things that you enjoyed as a young kid. Just because you get older doesn't mean that you can't hula hoop or jump rope or, you know, play tag with your friends, go swimming. Like, don't let go of the joys of life just because you're getting older. You can get older and still be youthful, you know? I think my dad is a great example of this. He is like the youngest person I know spiritually. He loves biking and kayaking. He's super active and he laughs and dances around. He's a really goofy person and he loves life. He has a lust for life, and I find that so inspiring. And growing up with my father, I've realized like you don't have to get old as you get older. I remember being a kid and wanting to be older so badly. I feel like everyone kind of goes through that, right? You know, you want to be cool like the older kids and you want to have more freedom, because I think childhood can be a very limiting experience. I definitely felt like caged in as a child. I just wanted to be able to do what I want. And so I enjoy getting older because I'm finally getting to do the things that I've always wanted to do. I definitely miss childhood for sure. Who doesn't? But with more freedom comes more responsibility, but everything has pros and cons, right? What is your favorite thing about performing, whether it be for theater or on YouTube? I love that question. There's so much I love about performing, but I think my favorite thing is just escaping. I think that's why I fell in love with theater when I was young, because it's not that I hated my life or anything, but it's nice to be able to be somebody else and to escape into a completely different world that you created in your mind. It was like the closest thing to, like, I don't know, kind of felt like magic or something. I love creating. I love it so much, and creating a completely different human being is so cool. And the great thing about acting is you are creating a different being, but that being is also a part of you. Like, you have to pull from your own personality and your own experiences to make that character come to life. And it's really cool to kind of have these different versions of yourself in a way, because it just makes you realize like you can be anybody in this world. Acting has made me realize how much of a flexible person I am, like mentally and emotionally. Escapism is my favorite part about creation. It's why I love movies, it's why I love books, it's why I love even like nature, is because I just get to escape and forget about the constant inner monologue that's going on in my head. And when you're a different character, you get to have a inner monologue and a train of thought, but it's somebody else's, which is a very like trippy thing. You're somebody else to the point where you're having their thoughts, not your own. I love collaborating too. Theater is such a collaborative thing, and it's so beautiful creating music and creating a whole world with other people, and you're all just playing pretend but taking it really seriously, but also having a lot of fun. There's so much I could talk about with that, but I'm gonna move on to the next question. What's the best advice you ever received? If you're a creative person and you go after your dreams and you do what you love, Do not worry about it. So many people tell creative people, oh, but that's not a lucrative career. You're going to be broke. You're not going to succeed. It's too hard. But the thing is, if you are doing what you love, things will fall into place. If you know how to work hard, apply yourself, and you are a talented individual, you'll figure it out. There is money out there for creative people. Don't let people who are too afraid to follow their dreams tell you otherwise. I never thought that I'd be making the money that I'm making right now. And I'm not rich by any means, obviously. I have 50,000 subscribers, but I'm still making a lot more than I ever thought I would at this age. So I think I'm living proof of this advice. If you do what you love, the money will come and you'll figure it out. What/who's your style of inspiration? Where do you usually shop? I mean, Pinterest is the obvious answer, right? Instagram, my friends. Being in New York is great because there are so many different people with different styles, so I get inspired from people on the street all the time. My mom, she has a great sense of style. A lot of my clothes that I wear are actually from her. I like to thrift, of course. Sometimes I'll go to Urban Outfitters or Free People if I can afford it. A lot of that stuff is gifted though. I love to shop on eBay and Etsy too. I find a lot of great stuff on there. Depop, although it can be kind of expensive sometimes. I don't really like shopping on Depop that much anymore. How do you balance wanting to be attractive but not wanting to be objectified by men? The thing is, men are going to objectify me regardless, so I really don't care at this point. When I get dressed in the morning, I'm not thinking like, oh, what are the boys going to think of this little number? I'm just like, hey, I look good. If men objectify me, it's out of my control, and I honestly don't care at this point. I don't really strive to balance it at all. If I wear a short skirt and a low cut top and people stare, so be it. I think I look sexy, and clearly they do too. Yeah, it's kind of like how you shouldn't care what other people think. I kind of apply that same logic to men objectifying me or catcalling me. It's like, I don't give a I guess you could look at it in a positive way and be like, you know what? I look good today, clearly, because I'm being validated by dozens of men on the street. I had a really good time filming this video. It honestly did kind of feel like I was hanging out with y'all, even though I'm literally alone talking to a camera. I cannot express how grateful I am to have this platform and to be able to do stuff like this and have YouTube be my job. My life has changed so much since I started YouTube, and I feel like the luckiest person alive, and I'm so happy. Follow me on Instagram though, because I love interacting with you guys on Instagram and the DMs and the comments. If you want to be a part of the next Q&A, follow me there. I do questions and polls all the time. So yeah, go follow me on Instagram at Madison Brown. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.